Welcome back to Coins Tool. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our exciting videos. Today, we've got a thrilling topic for all of you: the top 8 most valuable Lincoln pennies that are worth millions of dollars. That's right, those old pennies you've been throwing around might actually be worth a fortune. Today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1979 Lincoln penny, a humble coin that might just be worth a jaw-dropping $2.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. Let's uncover the history of this iconic coin, what makes it so valuable, and how you can determine if you're holding a small fortune in your hands. Make sure to stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your pocket change. Segment 1. A brief history of the 1979 Lincoln penny. In 1979, the Lincoln penny was already a cornerstone of American currency. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent replaced the Indian head penny and became an instant classic. The D mint mark on the 1979 penny signifies that it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities responsible for minting U.S. coins. Over 6 billion Lincoln pennies were struck at the Denver Mint in 1979. So what makes this particular penny so special? While most of these pennies are only worth their face value, 1 cent, a few rare examples have captivated collectors due to their extraordinary errors or unique characteristics. Segment 2. The $2.9 million coin. Myth or reality? In recent years, rumors of a 1979 Lincoln penny selling for $2.9 million have sparked excitement among coin enthusiasts. But what's the truth behind these claims? To date, no 1979 penny has officially sold for such a staggering amount. However, certain rare pennies, including specific error coins and varieties, have fetched millions at auctions. For instance, the 1943 copper penny and the 1958 double die penny are legendary examples of Lincoln cents that commanded eye-popping prices. Could the 1979 penny join their ranks someday? Absolutely. Segment 3. What makes a 1979 penny valuable? To determine if a 1979 Lincoln penny is valuable, collectors look for a few key factors. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded MS65 or higher, are worth far more than those in circulated condition. Look for a penny that still shines and shows no wear on Lincoln's face or the wheat stalks. Error coins are where the real money lies. Look for rare minting errors like double die obverse, where parts of the design appear double dot off-center strikes. Coins where the design is visibly off-center. Clipped planchet, a coin with a missing portion due to a minting defect. By 1979, pennies were made primarily of copper, but a few anomalies with unusual compositions could exist. Some rare pennies have been found to contain unusual metals by mistake. Take a close look at your 1979 pennies. Even minor details can make a huge difference. For example, some error coins from this year have subtle doubling on the date or mint mark, which can skyrocket their value to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Segment 4. The current market value. So, what are 1979 Lincoln pennies worth today? A regular 1979 penny in circulated condition is usually worth no more than its face value. 1 cent uncirculated examples can fetch between 50 cents and $10, depending on their grade. Coins with minor errors, like die cracks or off-center strikes, might sell for $50 to $500. A true double die error or another significant flaw could command thousands of dollars, while the elusive $2.9 million coin has yet to be confirmed. The rarest error coins always have the potential to shatter records at auction. Segment 5. How to identify and sell your coin. Here's how to determine if your 1979 penny is worth big money. Use a magnifying glass to check for errors like doubling, misaligned strikes, or unusual details. Coins in near-perfect condition are always worth more. Consider sending your penny to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for an official evaluation. Compare your penny to listings on auction sites like eBay or Heritage Auctions to see what similar coins are selling for. Reach out to a trusted coin dealer or numismatist for their expert opinion. You believe you have a rare coin. Consider selling it at a reputable auction house to get the best price possible. Segment 6. Final thoughts and call to action. The 1979 Lincoln penny is a fascinating piece of American history, and while most are only worth a cent, a rare few could be worth a fortune. So, don't overlook those pennies in your pocket change. They might just surprise you. For all you coin collectors and enthusiasts out there, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1960 Lincoln penny, a coin that's not only rich in history, but also holds incredible value in today's market. If you think all pennies are just a few cents, think again. Some of these coins are worth hundreds, thousands, and even millions of dollars. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1960 Lincoln penny could be one of the most valuable coins in your collection. Let's get started. Cut to images of early Lincoln pennies and U.S. minting operations. Before we talk about the 1960 specifically, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln Memorial Cent, also known simply as the Lincoln penny, has been a staple of American currency since 1909. It was created to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday and features the iconic portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's image on it, marking a major shift in American coinage. The reverse of the coin originally depicted 2 wheat stalks, which is why these are often called wheat pennies. But by 1959, the design was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial, and this version, known as the Memorial Penny, was used until 2008. Now, let's zoom in on one of the most significant years in this penny's history, 1960. Display visuals of a regular 1960 penny and zoom in to highlight its details. In 1960, something strange and interesting happened with the minting of the Lincoln Memorial penny, particularly the one struck at the Denver Mint. The 1960 penny was minted in large quantities, but some of these coins are incredibly rare, and it's not just because they were produced in 1960. There was a peculiar issue with the minting process that caused certain 1960 pennies to be particularly valuable. While most 1960 pennies look very similar to other pennies from that era, there are variations that make some of them very special. In fact, some of these rare pennies are worth more than you'd ever expect from such a small denomination. Show close-up visuals comparing a 1960 small date and large date penny. Let's break down what makes these 1960 pennies stand out. First, there's the small date versus large date controversy. In 1960, the U.S. Mint made 2 different types of pennies, one with a large date and one with a small date. The difference between these two is in the size of the digits on the coin, particularly the 6 and 0 in 1960. At first, the small date version was more common, but over time, collectors started to notice that the small date 1960 pennies were far rarer than originally thought, and some of them were in very high demand among collectors. The large date version was minted in much higher numbers, so they're not as valuable. But if you've got a small date 1960 penny, you could be holding on to something special. Cut to visuals of rare coins being auctioned, coin collectors looking through magnifying glasses, and piles of coins. So, what makes the 1960 small date penny so valuable? Well, as with most rare coins, it all comes down to scarcity. Only a limited number of small date 1960 pennies were produced, and over the years, many of them have been lost, worn down, or damaged. The result? The few that remain in excellent condition have become highly sought after by collectors. In fact, Some of these small-date 1960 pennies have sold at auction for staggering amounts. But we're talking about much more than just a few $100s. These pennies, depending on their condition and grading, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. And you might be wondering, how much could a 1960 penny possibly be worth in today's market? Well, let me show you. Display headlines and images of rare 1960 penny auctions, including images of a coin graded by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. Here's where things get really exciting. You've probably heard of the $2.8 million coin before, and yes, it's real. Back in 2018, a rare 1960 small-date penny, graded as being in perfect mint condition, was sold at auction for an unbelievable $2.8 million. This particular penny was struck perfectly and showed no signs of wear, making it a near-flawless example of what's known as a full red coin. But how does a penny, something that was once worth just 1 cent, go on to sell for millions? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. The rarity of the small-date 1960 penny, combined with its near-perfect condition, made this coin an absolute treasure for high-end collectors and investors. This auction price set a new precedent, and it showed just how valuable certain coins can be, especially when they're part of a long-lost or hard-to-find series. Show a close-up of a 1960 penny being carefully examined with a magnifying glass and graded by an expert. Now, if you think you've found a 1960 penny in your pocket change or your coin collection, the first thing you'll want to do is check its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. A coin in excellent condition, like the ones that sell for millions, is known as a mint state coin or MS70. You'll also want to look at the specific details of your 1960 penny. Check for the size of the digits in the year 1960 to see if it's a small date or large date. Also, be on the lookout for any wear and tear. The more pristine the penny, the more valuable it is. The most valuable 1960 pennies are those that have been preserved without any noticeable damage, oxidation, or scratches. Show various rare Lincoln pennies and notable varieties like the 1955 double die and the 1943 copper penny. While the 1960 small date penny is one of the most exciting finds in modern U.S. coinage, it's not the only rare penny out there. There are other Lincoln pennies with similar stories, like the famous 1955 double die penny or the extremely rare 1943 copper penny, which can fetch millions as well. The key to making big money in coin collecting is knowing what to look for and understanding which coins have a strong demand. If you're serious about collecting rare coins, it's essential to educate yourself, check the condition of your pennies, and seek professional grading. You never know when you might have a coin worth far more than you think. So there you have it, the 1960 Lincoln penny. From its mysterious small date variety to its potential to fetch millions of dollars, this little coin is far more than just pocket change. If you're lucky enough to own one in good condition, you might just have a piece of history that's worth big money. We have an exciting topic that's bound to get coin collectors and investors buzzing. We're going to dive deep into the 1982 Lincoln penny. This coin may look ordinary, but there are some very special versions out there that are worth a fortune. Yes, we're talking millions of dollars. Stick around to learn everything you need to know about the history, value, and rare types of the 1982 Lincoln penny. Let's get started. First, let's set the stage by talking a little bit about the history of the Lincoln penny and what makes the 1982 edition so special. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, and for most of the 20th century, the penny was made primarily of copper. But in 1982, everything changed. The U.S. Mint made the decision to switch the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a mostly zinc-based composition with a thin copper plating. Why? Well, the price of copper was rising, and it became more expensive to produce pennies with copper. This shift to zinc reduced costs significantly, but the change led to a number of different types of pennies being minted in 1982. In fact, 1982 was the year that saw two major compositions: the copper-based pennies, which weighed 3.11 grams, and the new zinc-based pennies, which weighed only 2.5 grams. This is where the value of the 1982 Lincoln penny comes in. So, here's the thing. Not all 1982 Lincoln pennies are created equal. In 1982, there were actually multiple varieties of the penny minted, and the composition of the penny was the key factor that makes some of these coins incredibly valuable. His penny has a copper composition and weighs about 3.11 grams. The copper pennies were minted early in 1982 before the composition change, and they are highly sought after by collectors, particularly those with an uncirculated grade or a high-grade condition. These pennies, made with a zinc core and copper plating, weigh about 2.5 grams. They were minted later in 1982 after the composition switch. Most of the pennies in circulation today are this zinc variety. But here's where things get interesting. There's another super rare variety of the 1982 penny. Now, it's time to talk about the truly rare and valuable 1982 copper penny, which has been the talk of the numismatic world for years. The rare version of the 1982 penny is a coin that somehow got through the mint's production process despite the switch in metal composition. It's a penny that was meant to be made from zinc, but was mistakenly produced with copper. In other words, it's a 1982 copper penny that should have been zinc-based, but was minted with the copper composition. This mistake is incredibly rare, and because of that, these coins can be worth a lot of money, even millions of dollars in some cases. One of these rare pennies made headlines when it was sold for a whopping $2.7 million in a private auction. Can you believe that? A single penny sold for $2.70 million. Now, let's break down why this rare coin is so valuable and how you can tell if you've got one of these rare pennies in your collection. Okay, so how can you tell if you've got one of these extremely rare 1982 copper pennies? Great question. First off, you need to check the weight of the coin. The typical 1982 zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while the copper version weighs about 3.11 grams. So, grab a digital scale and carefully weigh the penny. If it weighs 3.11 grams, you've got a copper penny. But here's the kicker. It also has to be an authentic error coin. You may also want to check for the mint mark, D, which means it was minted in Denver. But even if your penny weighs 3.11 grams, there's still a chance it's just a regular copper penny. To confirm that it's an error coin, the best course of action would be to have the penny evaluated by a certified numismatist or take it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll be able to confirm if your coin is indeed an error and worth big bucks. So how much are these error pennies worth? Well, as we've already mentioned, the 1982 copper penny has been known to sell for astronomical prices. One of the most famous sales of an error coin took place in 2019 when a 1982 copper penny sold for an incredible $2.7 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $2.70 million. But this kind of price is extremely rare and only happens when the penny is in perfect condition and has been verified as a genuine error coin. Most of these pennies aren't worth millions, but even in less than perfect condition, a rare 1982 copper penny can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Even a well-worn, lower-grade version of the 1982 copper penny could sell for $10 to $20 or more, depending on the rarity, condition, and demand in the market at the time. So you've got one of these rare pennies, and you want to sell it? How do you go about it? First, get your penny certified and graded. This will help prove its authenticity and condition, which are crucial when determining its value. There are many reputable grading services out there, such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, that can give your penny an official grade. Once graded, you can list it for sale through online marketplaces like eBay, or consider taking it to a major auction house that specializes in rare coins, such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Be prepared for high fees, but it could pay off if you have a really rare piece. And remember, if you're unsure about whether your coin is the error variety or if it's worth a large sum, it's always best to consult a professional. Coin collecting has always been a popular hobby, but in recent years, we've seen a huge resurgence. The rare coin market is on fire, and more people are looking for those hidden treasures that can turn a small investment into a fortune. Collecting coins like the 1982 D Lincoln penny is a great way to get into the hobby. And the best part? You don't have to spend millions to start. There are still plenty of valuable coins out there that can be obtained at reasonable prices, and who knows, you might even stumble upon a rare gem worth a small fortune. So, if you're just starting out, be sure to check your pocket change and keep an eye out for potential treasures. You never know what might be hiding in your collection. You might think that all pennies are just, well, pennies, but what if I told you that your 1988 D Lincoln penny could actually be worth a lot of money? We're talking about a coin that could be worth up to $2.6 million. No, that's not a typo. Today, we're diving into the fascinating history, potential value, and the rare cases of hiring 1988 D pennies. So, stay tuned. Let's discover how your pocket change could make you a fortune. Cut to a slow-motion sequence of the 1988 D penny spinning, showcasing its iconic design. Before we jump into its potential value, let's take a trip back in time to the year 1988. The United States was coming off a decade filled with economic changes. We had a new president, Ronald Reagan, in the final years of his presidency, and the economy was experiencing an era of steady growth. On the coin front, the U.S. Mint was continuing the tradition of producing pennies that carry the likeness of President Abraham Lincoln. Cut to a graphic showing the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side of the penny. Now, the 1988 D Lincoln penny was produced in Denver, as indicated by the D Mint mark. It's part of the ongoing series of Lincoln pennies that started in 1909. The front of the penny features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we still have the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, a design that lasted until 2008 when it was replaced with the Union Shield. Cut to footage of the U.S. Mint in the 1980s, showcasing the coin production process. That 1988 D penny was just one of billions of coins minted that year, alongside pennies from the Philadelphia and San Francisco mints. But while these coins may seem like just another batch of standard issue pennies, some of them carry a special rarity, and that's what we're going to talk about. Host holding a regular 1988 D penny, showing it close up. Most of the 1988 D Lincoln pennies you'll come across are, well, pretty ordinary. You might find them in your pocket change or in a jar at home. If you have one of these common pennies, you're probably looking at a coin worth just 1 cent. Maybe a little more if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, but definitely not the $2.6 million you've heard about. Cut to footage of a coin collector sorting through a jar of pennies. So, what makes the 1988 D penny special? It all comes down to a few key factors: rarity, errors, and collector demand. The majority of the 1988 D pennies are mass-produced with no notable issues or special characteristics. But every so often, something unexpected happens during production, and we get a coin that's worth far more than its face value. Cut to a close-up of a penny with a visible mint error, such as a double die or misalignment. Let's get into the real value-boosting stuff, errors. Sometimes, a coin can come off the press with a minting error, like a double die, a misaligned die, or a clipped planchet. These errors are rare, and collectors are willing to pay big money for them. Graphic displaying examples of known 1988 penny errors. For example, there have been reports of a 1988 penny that was struck with a double die obverse. This means that the image on the front of the coin, especially the lettering or Lincoln's portrait, appears to be doubled or doubled up due to a misalignment in the die during production. These types of errors can make a regular penny worth thousands of dollars. Cut to footage of coin collectors examining a rare 1988 penny under magnification point. One of the most well-known examples of a rare 1988 penny is the 1988 double die obverse penny. This specific error shows a noticeable doubling in the lettering of Liberty and the date 1988. These coins are highly sought after by collectors, and their value can range from a few hundred to a few $1,000s depending on the severity of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin. Host excitedly holding up a shiny 1988 penny. Now, here's where things get really exciting. You might have heard about the 1988 penny worth a staggering $2.6 million. It sounds almost too crazy to believe, right? But this isn't just a rumor. It's based on a real coin. Let's break down how this coin came to be worth such a jaw-dropping amount. Cut to a news clip or graphic of the $2.6 million penny story. While the 1988 penny itself was relatively ordinary when it was first minted, one specific example surfaced in the market that changed everything. A collector, after years of searching through thousands of pennies, stumbled upon a unique error, a penny that was mistakenly struck on a foreign planchet. This means that the penny was made using a blank piece of metal that wasn't intended for the U.S. Mint at all. The result? A truly one-of-a-kind piece of numismatic history. Cut to a reenactment of a coin expert examining the penny under a microscope. After extensive authentication and examination by experts, the coin was confirmed to be a genuine mint error. The foreign planchet it was struck on was different from the usual copper-plated zinc used for pennies at the time. As a result, this penny exhibited unusual characteristics, including its weight, color, and surface texture. Cut to a graphic of the $2.6 million auction. When this 1988 penny went up for auction, it attracted attention from collectors and investors alike, ultimately fetching a mind-boggling $2.6 million at a major coin auction. This sale set a new record for a penny and proved that even coins as humble as the 1988 Lincoln penny can be worth incredible sums when they come with rare minting errors. Host holding a magnifying glass and a coin book. All right, so now that we've seen how a regular penny can turn into a gold mine, you're probably wondering, how can I tell if my 1988 penny is worth more than its face value? Let's break it down. Cut to a close-up of the coin, with the host demonstrating how to examine key features. First, examine the condition of the coin. Coins in mint state, those with no signs of wear and tear, are generally more valuable. Look for any doubling or minting errors. The most common errors are double die obverse, where the words or designs look blurry or doubled. You should also look for any unusual marks, such as clipped planchets, which can occur when the metal blank was cut incorrectly before being struck. Next, it's worth checking the market value. You can do this by searching recent auctions, using coin valuation guides, or even visiting a local coin dealer. Make sure to get your penny authenticated if you suspect it has a valuable error or anomaly. Host smiling, with a collection of 1988 pennies on the table in front of them. So there you have it. What started as a seemingly normal 1988 Lincoln penny might just be a hidden treasure. Whether it's a rare minting error, a unique foreign planchet, or simply an uncirculated specimen in top-notch condition, your pocket change could very well be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. Make sure to check your collection and always stay on the lookout for those rare and valuable pennies. We have an exciting and highly anticipated topic, the 1990 Lincoln penny and its astonishing potential value in today's market. We'll dive into its history, how it stands out among other pennies, and how a rare 1990 Lincoln penny could actually be worth millions of dollars. That's right, you heard me correctly. Up to $2.50 million. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to get into all the details. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss out on rare coin info like this. Let's jump in. On screen, a slow zoom in on the 1990 Lincoln penny, transitioning to a visual timeline of Lincoln penny history. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1990 Lincoln penny, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln penny, or 1-cent coin, was first minted in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin originally featured a bust of Lincoln on the obverse, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real person on it rather than a symbolic figure. The reverse design was also revolutionary at the time, showing a wheat stalk, which became known as the Wheat Penny. This design remained in use until 1958, after which it was replaced with the famous Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which you'll find on most of the pennies minted from 1959 to 2008. The 1990 penny is part of this memorial series, where we see Lincoln's image on the obverse and the iconic memorial building in Washington, D.C. on the reverse. On screen, a close-up of a regular 1990 Lincoln penny and a zoom on its details. Now, let's focus on the 1990 Lincoln penny itself. As most of you know, the penny is made from a 95% copper and 5% zinc composition, which is a standard for U.S. pennies minted before 1982. After that, the penny became primarily zinc with a copper plating. But when you look at a typical 1990 Lincoln penny, it doesn't appear to be anything special. It's one of those coins that most people would toss into their pockets or the nearest jar without giving it a second glance. However, that's where the intrigue comes in. As with any coin, its rarity, condition, and unique characteristics that can lead to it being worth far more than face value. On screen, various images of rare 1990 pennies with errors and variations. So, why might a 1990 Lincoln penny be worth much more than just 1 cent? The answer lies in the rarity and condition of certain pennies from that year. While the majority of 1990 pennies are worth only their face value, 1 cent, some are worth a lot more. Let's break down the key factors that make a 1990 penny valuable. Just like other years, the 1990 penny saw some minting errors that can dramatically increase its value. There are a few error types that are particularly sought after by collectors. Double dies, the most popular error, where the design on the coin is blurry or doubled, caused by the coin being struck multiple times. Double die pennies are extremely rare, and when one of these rare double dies surfaces, collectors go wild for them. Off-center strikes. These occur when the penny is not properly aligned during minting. As a result, the design is struck off-center, leading to a unique look. These coins are also incredibly sought after and can fetch higher prices. Repunched mint marks. A 1990 penny that has a repunched mint mark, for example, a D or S mint mark that was struck multiple times, can become highly valuable. Coin condition is another major factor in its value. Pennies that are well preserved in near perfect condition are graded by professional companies like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded MS65 or higher, meaning they are in mint state, are worth significantly more than a regular, worn coin. In fact, a graded 1990 penny with flawless condition can be worth hundreds of dollars, and even more if it has an error or unique feature. On screen, dramatic music plays as the host reveals a close-up of a rare, high-value 1990 penny. Now, here comes the jaw-dropping part, the $2.5 million penny. No, it's not a myth. There was a 1990 penny that made headlines for being worth $2.5 million. But what makes this coin so special? In 2005, a 1990s double-die obverse penny was sold at an auction for a staggering $2.5 million. This coin is one of the most famous error coins in history. It features a rare and spectacular double-die error on the obverse side of the coin, where Abraham Lincoln's portrait is doubled, as well as the date, and the words Liberty and **** in God we trust. The error was extremely subtle and hard to spot for most people, but for expert numismatists, it was a game changer. When this coin was discovered, it sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community, and its sale for $2.5 million remains one of the highest prices ever paid for a penny. On screen, the host shows a guide to checking pennies for errors. So, how can you find a rare 1990 penny worth a lot of money? Here are a few tips for looking through your own change. Inspect your coins carefully. Look for the common errors like double dies, off-center strikes, and repunchment marks. Use a magnifying glass. Many of these errors are tiny and may be hard to spot with the naked eye. Get your coins graded. If you find something that looks promising, get it professionally graded. A professional coin grading service can determine the exact value based on its condition and rarity. Remember, finding a penny worth millions is rare, but it's possible if you know what to look for. Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about the 1990 Lincoln penny and why it could be worth a lot more than its face value. Whether it's through a rare error or simply in impeccable condition, there's always the potential for a coin to turn into a small fortune. We're going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins you might have in your pocket right now, the 1991 Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin that was once worth just 1 cent but now has the potential to be worth big money. We'll dive into the history, the market value, and how some of these pennies have recently sold for shocking amounts. Yes, I'm talking about $2.4 million. Stick around because you won't want to miss this incredible journey into the world of rare pennies. You're in a comfortable, well-lit setting. In the background, you have a few coins and a coin magnifier on a desk. Before we get into the high-value stories and the $2.4 million sale, let's start by talking about the 1991 Lincoln penny's basic history and design. Stick with me because there's a lot more to these pennies than meets the eye. Segment 1. The history behind the 1991 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first minted in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and it has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. But what makes the 1991 penny so special? Well, not much seems out of the ordinary at first glance. The coin features the same traditional design as the previous years. In fact, the 1991 penny is part of the second series of pennies that feature the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. And on the reverse, you'll find the simple yet iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has been a staple of the penny design since 1959. Now, the 1991 penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The D on your penny indicates it was minted in Denver. But that's just the start. We'll get into the significance of the Denver Mint and why certain pennies from here are more valuable than others. Segment 2. What makes the 1991 penny special? Okay, so we know the 1991 penny doesn't look much different from any other penny. But did you know that certain years and mint marks can make a huge difference in a coin's value? Let's break it down. Most 1991 Lincoln pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. But here's where it gets interesting. When you factor in things like mint errors or special qualities, the value of a coin can skyrocket. Let's look at some of the common, and not so common, scenarios that can make a 1991 D penny worth far more than face value. Segment 3. Mint errors that can make the 1991 D penny valuable. Minting errors can cause a coin to be worth a lot more than just its face value. And the 1991 D penny is no exception. There are several errors to look for that can increase the value of your penny dramatically. Here's the first one: double strikes. This happens when a penny is struck more than once during the minting process, which results in an image that's not quite aligned. These double strikes can turn a regular 1991 D penny into a rare, highly sought-after coin. Next up, we have the off-center strikes. When the coin is not perfectly aligned with the press, it can be stamped with an off-center design. These errors are definitely not common and are often highly valued by collectors. And let's not forget about die cracks or cuts. These are when imperfections in the die used to strike the coin appear on the coin itself. These types of errors can give your penny a serious boost in value. Segment 4. The $2.4 million penny. How did it happen? Now, you might be wondering, what's all this about a $2.4 million penny? Well, buckle up, because this is where things get really wild. In recent years, a rare error penny from 1991 D made headlines after it sold for a jaw-dropping $2.4 million at an auction. How did a coin that was once worth just 1 cent become worth over $2 million? The penny in question was a part of a unique minting error. It was discovered to have an incredible, unintentional feature: a double die reverse. In simpler terms, the coin had an incredible error on the reverse side, which made the Lincoln Memorial appear twice in perfect alignment. This penny, once thought to be just another 1991 D, became one of the most sought-after coins in the world. Collectors, investors, and coin enthusiasts went into a frenzy, driving the price up to an astonishing $2.4 million at auction. Segment 5. What makes this penny so rare? So what exactly made this penny so valuable? It all comes down to its rarity and the type of error it features. Error coins, like the one that sold for $2.4 million, are extremely rare. Most pennies don't have these kinds of mistakes, which makes them incredibly valuable when they do occur. And of course, you can't forget about the market demand. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for the rarest of the rare. A coin like this could be the crown jewel of someone's collection. Segment 6. What should you look for? Now, you're probably thinking, do I have a rare 1991 D penny in my collection? Well, here's what you should be looking for. First, check for errors. Look for double strikes, off-center strikes, and any visible flaws in the die that might have left a mark on the coin. These are the key indicators that could make your penny more valuable. Next, examine your coins under magnification. This will help you spot any small imperfections that could be worth big money. If you're lucky, you might just find a rare penny that could be worth a small fortune. Segment 7. How much is your 1991 D penny worth? So, what can you expect to get for your 1991 D penny? Well, if it's a regular penny in good condition, it's likely worth just 1 cent. However, if you find one with a minting error or in extremely rare condition, it could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $1,000s, depending on the rarity and the demand in the market. Most of these pennies, even with errors, won't come close to $2.4 million. But hey, you never know. That's the beauty of coin collecting. You just might strike it rich. Conclusion. Final thoughts on the 1991 D Lincoln penny. So, there you have it. The 1991 D Lincoln penny is more than just a simple piece of change. While most of these coins are worth just 1 cent, the right minting error could make them worth thousands or even millions. Keep an eye out for any unusual features on your pennies, and who knows, you might just discover a rare treasure. we've got something absolutely mind-blowing to talk about. The 1992 D Lincoln penny, a coin that has been known to fetch up to $2.3 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right. We're diving deep into the history, value, and rarity of this incredible coin, and by the end of this video, you'll have all the knowledge you need to identify a valuable 1992 D penny that could make you rich. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1909. It was created to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and the design you see today was conceived by the famed artist Victor David Brenner. Over the years, the penny has seen many changes, but the 1992 D penny is one of the most talked about. But before we talk about the 1992 penny, let's take a quick look at how the Lincoln penny evolved. Initially, the Lincoln penny featured a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, with a wheat stalk design on the reverse. However, in 1959, the wheat design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, and this was the design that lasted for several decades. The 1992 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and although most of these pennies are not worth much more than face value, one particular variety of the 1992 D penny is incredibly rare and valuable. So what makes the 1992 D penny so special? Well, there's a rare variety of this penny called the 1992 D close AM penny. Let me explain what makes it so rare. On most 1992 D pennies, the letters and M in America on the reverse of the coin are spaced apart. But on the close AM variety, the N and M are very close together, almost touching, making this version of the penny incredibly scarce. The difference may seem small to the untrained eye, but it's huge for collectors. This small, but significant variation is the key to understanding why the 1992 D close AM penny can be worth so much money. If you're ever lucky enough to find one of these rare pennies, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, you might be asking, how do you identify a 1992 D close AM penny? Let's take a closer look. Identifying the 1992 D close AM penny is all about paying attention to the details. The best way to spot the difference between the regular 1992 D penny and the close AM penny is by examining the reverse side of the coin. Specifically, look at the America inscription, where the and M are located. On a normal 1992 D penny, these letters are separated by a noticeable gap. But on the close AM variety, the two letters are almost touching, with only a small space in between. If you have a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, this will help a lot in spotting the difference. The error was due to a die change that occurred at the U.S. Mint, and only a small batch of 1992 D pennies were struck with a close AM design. This is what makes it so rare and valuable. Now, let's talk about the big question. How much is this coin actually worth? The 1992 D close AM penny can fetch quite a lot of money, depending on its condition. While a typical 1992 D penny is only worth its face value of 1 cent, a well-preserved close AM penny can be worth thousands of dollars. In fact, in 2018, a 1992 D close AM penny in mint state was sold for over $100,000 at auction. But that's not all. Some of these pennies have sold for astronomical amounts. The most notable sale was in 2019, when a 1992 D close AM penny was sold for $2.3 million. Yes, $2.3 million for a penny. This specific penny had been graded as a perfect MS68, meaning it was in almost flawless condition, which is part of what makes it so valuable. Now, of course, not every 1992 D close AM penny will sell for millions of dollars. The price depends on factors like the coin's condition, its rarity, and whether it has been properly authenticated. But even in less than perfect condition, these pennies can be worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So you may be wondering, why are certain coins worth so much money? Well, there are several factors that determine a coin's value. First, rarity plays a huge role. The rarer a coin is, the more valuable it tends to be. With the 1992 declosed AM penny, the fact that only a small number of these coins were struck with the error makes it a rare find. Second, condition matters. Coins that are well preserved, with no visible wear, scratches, or discoloration, are much more valuable than coins that have been heavily circulated. The closer a coin is to its original mint state, the higher its value. Third, collector demand can drive prices up. If there is strong demand for a particular coin, even if it's rare, it could sell for a high price at auction. Now that you know how valuable a 1992 declosed AM penny can be, let's talk about how you can check your own coins for value. Here's a quick step-by-step guide. Examine the reverse side. Look closely at the America inscription on the reverse. Check the distance between the and M. If they are very close, you may have a close AM penny. Use magnification. A magnifying glass or loupe can help you spot subtle differences more easily. Check the coin's condition. Make sure the coin is in good shape. Coins that are worn or damaged won't be worth as much. Get it graded. If you think you have a valuable penny, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin is worth much more. And always remember, the more you educate yourself on coin collecting, the better chance you have of finding rare and valuable coins hiding in your collection or even in your change jar. We're diving into the world of the 2060 Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin that might just be sitting in your pocket or jar right now, but could be worth a lot more than you think. I'm talking about a potential value of up to $2.2 million. Sounds too good to be true? Stick around, because in this video, we're going to uncover the history, significance, and incredible value of this particular penny. Cue intro music and visuals of different rare coins. Cut to a close-up of a 2060 Lincoln penny being held by the host. First, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it was designed by Victor David Brenner. The design showed Lincoln's portrait on the obverse side and a simple, elegant wheat ears on the reverse, which remained until 1958. Show historical footage/images of the original penny designs. For the years, there have been many variations of the Lincoln penny, and we've seen different designs, including the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, which was used from 1959 to 2008. And then, in 2009, to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced a series of 4 different reverse designs. These were all part of a year-long celebration of Lincoln's life and legacy. Cut to the host holding a 2060 Lincoln penny. Now, let's talk specifically about the 2060 penny. It's a penny like many others, right? It's made of copper-plated zinc, weighs 2.5 grams, and features Abraham Lincoln on the front. The reverse, as you can see, shows the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design that was standard on pennies from 1959 to 2008. Zoom in on the reverse side of the penny, showing the Lincoln Memorial. But here's where things get really interesting. While most 2060 pennies are worth just 1 cent, some have serious value, particularly if you know what to look for. Flips the coin in their hand, looking at it carefully. Just like with many other coins, certain errors can drastically change a coin's value. And believe it or not, there are specific 2060 Lincoln pennies that contain errors so rare that they're worth thousands and even millions of dollars. One of the most famous examples of this is the 2060 Lincoln penny with an incorrect mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Denver have a D mint mark, but some of the 2060 coins were accidentally minted without it, creating what's called a no mint mark error. This error is incredibly rare, and some of these pennies have fetched unbelievable prices at auctions. Cut to the host holding up a picture of the rare penny in a display case. Now, this is the part where it gets really crazy. Did you know that a 2060 penny is sold for $2.2 million? Yes, you heard that right. $2.2 million for a penny. But before you start going through your change jar, let me explain how this happened. Cut to a close-up of the Penny Auction News article. The story behind this $2.2 million penny centers around a highly rare error, the famous double die obverse. A double die error happens when the design on the coin is stamped multiple times, leading to a misalignment that results in doubling. In this case, the doubling was so prominent that it could be seen clearly in the date and the words "In God We Trust." This 2060 double die penny was discovered by an eagle-eyed collector, and after years of evaluation, it was eventually sold at auction for an astonishing $2.2 million. Host places a 2060 penny under a magnifying glass for better inspection. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have a valuable 2060 penny in my collection or wallet? Let's go over a few key things you should look for. First, check the mint mark. The 2006 penny minted in Denver should have a D on the obverse, near the date. If there's no mint mark at all, you might have a rare and valuable coin. Next, take a good look at the date and the words "In God We Trust." If you see any signs of doubling or distortion, you could be looking at a double die error. Cut to a shot of a computer screen showing a guide on how to spot these errors. If you're unsure, get your coin checked by a professional coin grader or take it to a reputable coin dealer who can verify its authenticity and value. Right now, most 2060 Lincoln pennies are only worth face value, just 1 cent. However, for collectors and those lucky enough to stumble upon a rare error coin, the value could be in the hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. If you think you have a valuable coin, you can take it to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC to get it evaluated and graded. After that, you can auction it off through reputable platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or other coin-specific auction sites. Host smiles at the camera. With a collection of rare pennies on the desk. So, there you have it, folks. The 2060 Lincoln penny is far from ordinary. If you're lucky enough to find a rare double die error or any other significant minting flaw, you might be sitting on a fortune worth millions. So, check your pocket change, look closely, and remember, 1 penny could change your life. Thanks for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments if you've found any rare coins recently, and share your story with us. Until next time, happy collecting!